Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am MD Musfiqur Rahman, student of Masters of Port and Shipping Management, Bangladeshi Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Maritime University. Currently, the name is Maritime University of Bangladesh, batch 08. My roll number 232120004. Today, I am discussing on Incoterms and their influence on international shipping cost, a case study on the Bangladesh Independent Power Producer Company. First of all, I would like to thank my respected sir, Jalaj Faisal sir, along with my coursemate, and who will watching my video in my YouTube channel. So in here, my course outline, the presentation outline. Short brief of Incoterms. Why Incoterms in the international business? Incoterms are organized into the four groups. Incoterms cover 11 areas. Incoterms 2020, Incoterms 2020 main changes, Incoterms 2020 the round trip 11 traps, stakeholders involvement according to the Incoterms. What are the five most used Incoterms based on the freight collect and the freight prepaid? How can I identify the Incoterms and the cost considerations? Choosing the right Incoterms in the power plant industry, the real practice. Power plant industry preference, the best practices, conclusion, the keynotes. So the short brief on the Incoterms. How? Incoterms, mainly the international commercial terms, set of predefined commercial terms published by International Chamber of Commerce, international rules for interpretation of commonly used trade terms in a foreign trade. Incoterms stated the seller cost and risks are transferred from the seller to the buyer. First published 1936, Incoterms, then 2010 start. Then the current version is 2020. The latest revision should be used exclusively starting January 2020. Incoterms are not law nor binding. They are only used as a guide response as international shipments are brought and sold. Why is Incoterms used in international business? Provide a common framework for global trade, to specify who is responsible for paying for and managing the shipment, carrier insurance and documentation, customs clearance, and other logistic activities. Cost allocations, and they have the business standardization, trade contract, the misunderstanding, and they clarify the cost, risks, and logistics. We find the word seller responsible, like export dues, insurance, and transportation, and specify the buyer and obligation insurance and import duties, transportation, final delivery. Comparison the freight cost, precasting, landing cost, and the total cost of ownership of the products. Clear outline point in which the transfer for the seller and buyer. And the prepare the request for quotations, purchase order, and the pro forma invoice and others related shipping documents. Reduce the confusion by providing a common language for global trade. Clarify the defined responsibility, ensuring the transparency between the parties. Minimize the disputes by outlining who bears the cost and risks at each stage of the transportations. Incoterms are organized into four groups. Group E is extracts. Group F is like FCA free carrier, face free alongside chiefs, FOB free on board. And Group C's main cargo is like CFR, cost and freight, cost insurance and freight, coverage paid to, coverage and insurance paid to. And Group D, that is a delivered place, DFP, DPU, and DDP. Incoterms cover 11 areas of the obligations of sellers and the buyers, like delivery, taking delivery, transfer the risks, export packaging, loading charges, delivery port and place, original terminal, loading on carriage charge and insurance, delivery at destinations. So in here, Incoterms 2020, the latest Incoterms, if you go through here, the X work, we can use the any mode. There is some responsibility in the buyer side and the seller side. You can easily see in here. So the orange color is mainly seller side, and the blue color is the mainly the seller buyer side. So in here, seller loaded all the responsibility, how many responsibility here. So in any mode, we can use the X work, FCA, CPT, CIP, DIP, and DPU and DDP. And only waterway we can use, we can select the like the FAS free alongside ships and FOB free on board and cost and freight and cost insurance and freight, that is. So if you can see in here the how many responsibility up to the seller and how many responsibility up to the buyer. So there is a set guideline, clear guideline here 2020 Incoterms. So apart from this Incoterms, this is a quick you can identify what is the responsibility, how is the responsibility, and uh, what are the responsibility in the buyer and seller perspectives. You can easily catch if you've seen this quick responsibility guideline in Incoterms 2020. Incoterms 2020 main changes mainly G-Trans change DPU delivery at place unloaded FCA has a two possible option. Earlier is the one option. A new section is cost has been included and customer clearance with the export, transit and the import explanations. FCA with a bill of ladings on board notification effect rate, security issues. Incoterms 2020 ran on all the 11 trams, the X-work. In earlier, we seen this in a picture. So in here, X-work means is the X-work. So I mean, in here there are explanations properly. Yeah, buyer is collect the goods from the exporter warehouse premises and free of carriage, that is the seller responsibility up to the free of FCA is near to the port or the this warehouse of the exporter. So by responsibility from the collect the near to the port area unloaded after all the part will responsible for the buyer. And then that is the carriage paid to seller delivers the goods to carrier or buyer appointed agent and pays for the international carriage. And carriage and insurance paid to seller delivers the goods to carrier or buyer appointed agent and pays for international carriage and insurance. And delivered at place unloaded DPU. New 2023 formally called delivered at terminal. Seller delivers by making goods availability buyer by unloaded goods at a name place. Delivered at place DAP. Seller delivers by making goods availability to buyer at the name place. So in here the Incoterms 2023 there is a four ocean waterway can use FAS free alongside the ships and free on board and then cost and freight and then cost insurance and freight. So we can here is use seller delivers the plane in FS goes alongside the vessel nominated by the buyer and FOB seller delivers when the goods are on board and vessel nominated by the buyer and cost and freight seller pays the cost and freight name and destinations deliver when the goods are on board and vessel nominated by buyer. A cost insurance freight there is the only difference only insurance can get the from this exporter can take the responsibility insurance. So CFI and the CIP only difference is insurance. Stakeholders involvement in according to the Incoterms, shipper, exporter, consignor, receiver, importer, consignee, and using non-vessel operating common carrier, maritime operating freight forwarder, transporter, customs authority, port authority, insurance company, surveyor, independent surveyor, or the like intertake, and validators. So what are the most of five Incoterms you used? Like Xwork, we can use Xwork as well up to the that this by shipper responsibility up to the their warehouse. FOB, that is free on board, and earlier we covered CIF, cost and freight, insurance and freight, and DDP, delivery duty paid, that is currently used in a DHL or a small shipment for documentary purpose. Okay, that is commonly used. And cost and freight, that is CFR, that is mainly bulk quantity, or the FCL or LCL cargo majority importer they are selected their CFR. CFR responsibility freight in the exporter or the shipper side. Based on the freight collect and the freight prepaid, how can you know freight collect? That means buyer need to pay. That is the freight collect like Xworks, FCA, and FAS, FOB. All these all four is using the freight collect. You whenever using these Incoterms and refer to the freight prepaid that is already prepaid from the supplier end. That is cost and freight CIF, cost insurance and freight, and the cost carriage paid to the port and CIP and DAP and DDP. Incoterms and cost estimate. How different Incoterms impact the total shipping cost. Some Incoterms, that is CIF and DDP, all pricing and shipping, and others Xworks, that is Xwork on FOB, cost sharing, that is the seller using the CIF and CIF and CIP. Buyers choosing the like is the Xworks and the FOB that have the greater control over the logistics and higher risk, the coordination, the efforts. Choosing the right Incoterms in the power plant, that is factors consider the total cost implication. Does the seller and buyer get better rates? Risk management, who should be responsible for damage and losses? Logistics capability, and can buyer manage the shipping effectively? And the trade regulation and duties, who should handle the customs clear? Power industry reference in the best factories. In the Feni Lanka and like the Navy, we've seen there is using the X-Work, their power plant, X-Work, FCA, FOBC, CPT, this type of Incoterm, they are already used we, as our case study. And along with the importer concerned industry, the delivering the X-Work, FCA, CA, that is the mostly used in the power plant related industries. Calculation and important key terms. Important key terms, the understanding input terms essential for the starting clear, legally sound trade agreement and reduce the financial risk, defining the cost and liability distributions, and how they simplifying the international trade. Standardization rules ensure consistency in global transactions, avoid the misunderstanding between the buyer and seller. Encouragement to use the right input terms for the business success. Business should also deal with needs and select Incoterms wisely, and the proper use Incoterms enhance the efficiency, reduce cost, and improve risk management in international trade. Incoterms is mainly used in the business import or export business purpose thing, and that is the clear guideline, set guideline. How is the responsibility? What is the responsibility for the buyer side and along with the supplier side? So earlier is various disputes, some regarding the responsibility. So in here, International Chamber of Commerce set a clear guidelines in 1936. So gradually in this current version 2022, there are clear set line, the clear guidelines. What are the responsibility? How is the responsibility? How many responsibility? And there is this is a timeline of the responsibility. That is the Incoterms. That is called international commercial terms. There's a clear set guidelines. So if any question, you can comment in further my YouTube channel so that I can resolve the your question on the comments box through inbox. So thank you very much for watching my video. And once again, I would like to thank my respected sir, Julhash Faisal sir, to his valuable guidelines so that we can create this presentation. Actually, thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.